And welcome back to Who Would Win, the month of the weekly Who Would Win, or the week of Who Would Win. And this one comes to us from both Luke Slagter, I think that's the way that's pronounced. It's like slag and T-E-R, so something like that, Slagter. I partly want to say slaughter, but I know that's not right. And Luke Silla, who you oddly enough gave me this suggestion yesterday. I made sure you didn't already suggest it, you hadn't, but oddly enough, this was the exact one I was doing the next day, so you're in luck, dude. Who asked the question, who would win a fight? SCP-939 versus the Indoraptor from Jurassic World. So let's talk about the Indoraptor first, because he's going to be the easy one to go over. The Indoraptor was a genetically engineered dinosaur in the vein of something similar to the Indominus Rex. Basically, what's the name of the asshole that Vincent D'Onofrio played? He talked about the Indominus Rex, what it would be like if, this thing were a fraction of the size, immune to heat, radar, all that stuff. That's essentially what the Indoraptor was. The Indoraptor was the next step in making the Indominus Rex, making it something a lot of size more manageable, highly intelligent, vicious, vicious as hell. Basically had a like a on target kill, like on target. What's the best way to put it? It was like it homed in on like sound and targeted the sound and then went for the object to attack it. But highly intelligent, extremely fast, durable, and powerful. It's not known if it was actually bulletproof. Owen did shoot it, but I don't think he shot it with actual like bullets. I think he shot it with like taser blasts or taser bullets or something like that. So it's not known if it was like truly bulletproof or not. This was just a prototype we saw. They probably would have designed it later on to be much more durable. It probably still had the similar abilities to the Indominus, though. It was probably still could camouflage if it had to, reduce its thermal output. It ultimately did lose in a fight, though, with a Velociraptor. Well, Velociraptor. It's technically a Deinonychus. A larger version of a raptor. It's not a Velociraptor. But the point being, it lost to a raptor, which by all accounts, it should not have done. Though Blue is considered to be an exceptional member of her species. So, the Indominus also was, Indoraptor was roughly Indoraptor. Actually, I need to find out how big it was. It was at least like 15 feet long. And depending on, let's see, Indoraptor, how big was this thing? It wasn't huge, but it was sizable. Okay, yeah, height-wise, it was about 10 feet, a little over 10 feet tall. It was actually verged right under 24 feet long, so it was actually pretty large. And it weighed about half a ton. Actually, it weighed 1.12 pounds, so a little over a ton. So it was quite powerful. It was quite dangerous, quite large. Due to being rodent, it lacked any positive characteristics. Wu created it lacked the ability to follow orders other than its conditioning to visual and audio cues, and lacked any positive personality traits seen in Blue, such as ability to show empathy and bond with a trainer or handler. So, I mean, it was still extremely dangerous. I did like its design. I heard some people, namely someone who I'm a big fan of their videos, talking about how the Indoraptor and the Indominus were very unoriginal. I'm like, for hybrids, like, yes, but at the same time, when you're talking about the plot you're given, weaponizing a dinosaur, you do kind of want to go for simplicity at some point. Yeah, it's going to have a lot of complicated features, but simplicity is something you might want to try working with. It also had basically hands for claws, front claws as well, like legitimate hands. So yeah, the Indoraptor was very capable. SCP-939 is described as, first off, it's a Cater class, which is something that cannot escape. The class of SCP range from safe, meaning that they can be contained, they are contained, it's all good. Elusive, meaning it's difficult to contain these, and the level of danger they pose can vary. A safe class SCP could even be a world ender, but it's easily contained. A Cater class is near impossible to contain. And this is a Cater class SCP. It is described as a endothermic pack-based predator with a disarray of atrophy of various systems similar to, troglobitic. Let me try to get this one more time. Troglobitic. troglodytic organisms. The skins of SCP-939 are highly permeable of moisture and translucent red, owing to a component chemical similar to hemoglobin. It's about an average of 2.2 meters tall, standing upright, and weighing about an average of 250 kilograms, though weight highly varies. Each of the 4 limbs end in 3 finger claws with a 4th opposing digit and covered in a setae, which considerably augments climbing abilities. Their heads are elongated, devoid of any visual vestige eyes or eye sockets, and contain no brain casing. The jaws of this creature are lined with a red, faintly luminous fang-like teeth, similar to those belonging to specimens of the genus of... Oh god, I'm not even about to try to figure out that name. Chalodus, up to 6 centimeters in length, and circling by a heat-sensitive pit organs. Eye spots sensitive to light and dark run through their spine and dorsal ridges. Their spines may be up to 16 centimeters long and are believed to be sensitive to changes in air pressure and flow. They do not possess many vital organs systems. Central and peripheral nervous systems, circulatory systems, and a digestive tract that are all absent. Respiratory systems is atrophied and serves no apparent purpose beyond spreading spreading AMNC227, which I'll explain what that is in a little bit, and has apparently no physiological need to feed, nor any way to digest and consume tissue. Ingesting material and typically accumulates in the respiratory system of the creature, and is regurgitated once the amount is sufficient to markedly inhibit its function. Despite the absence of many vital organs, it is capable of bearing live young. Not that it would really matter in this case. Its primary method of luring prey is imitating human speech in the voice of the prior victims. The intimidation of other species. Imitation. Sorry, I was trying to say imitation, but the imitation of other species in active nocturnal hunts have been documented. Vocalizations often imply significant stress. Whether or not they understand their vocalizations or repeating previous phrases, the subject is an ongoing study. However, this creature acquires voices. How it acquires voices is not currently understood. Specimens have been documented imitating victims despite never hearing the victims speak. Analysis of the vocalizations cannot distinguish between the samples of victims or voices using strong biometric recognition. Basically, the prey is usually killed with a single bite to the cranium neck. Bite forces have been measured at 35 MPa. This creature exhales minute traces of aerosolized C-class amnestics, meaning amnesia memory loss inducing chemicals, designated as AMNC227. This causes temporary anterograde amnesia, inhibiting memory formation for duration of exposure, plus average of 30 minutes. It is colorless, odorless, tasteless, and one of the most it's colorless, odorless, tasteless, and one of the more deadly poisons known to man. Which is estimated. Reports sensation distortion, mild hallucination. In a well-ventilated or open-air environment, risk of exposure to this is greatly reduced, but not negligible. So following removal of the environment saturation with agents, so far. So basically, these are a weird type of pack creature. As you can see here, I got a picture of it. I mean, it's covered over, but you can generally get an idea. These are like blood red. They look almost like just skin peeled off, bare muscle, weird fucking creatures. Pardon. Yeah, so that's what these basically are. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure why these are considered a Cater class. An Elucid class, definitely. Danger-wise, they're certainly dangerous, but there's nothing to indicate that these things can't be killed. Can't be shot in the head or anything like that, ripped apart, whatever. Yeah, I got nothing. I mean, containment of 9 specimens has been compromised following a Silent Night breach scenario in a biocontainment research. Nearby civilian settlements have been evacuated. Recovery teams have been deployed in the area. In light of this interaction, no mail. Okay, I mean, there's nothing that says these things. Effective may use is suspended indefinitely. Yeah, there's nothing that says these things can't be killed. So it's not like they have high regeneration or anything along those lines, or at least as far as I can tell. I mean, it's possible this is out of date too. The SCP Foundation site, it might be out of date. I also found out recently that they are going through like a legal battle for someone trying to copyright these things. Like, No, this was free stuff. This is like all free. You can't do that. Like legally, you shouldn't be able to do that. So there's a big fight going on with that right now. The point being, who would win the fight, the Indoraptor or these things? Let's assume the Indoraptor itself is an SCP. And let's assume it is locked up in the same containment area that SCP-939 is. In fact, let's just make it three. Is there an SCP that even is remotely similar to this guy that I could maybe use as an example of this? I know there's dinosaur SCPs. I just need to know what numbers they are, if they're even within the numbers of like the 900s or below. There's a SCP called the Tickle Monster. I gotta quickly see what the Tickle Monster is. Appears to be a large anthropomorphic gelatinous mass of translucent orange slime, easily malleable, shape well. Okay. Anyway. So anyway, I know there's dinosaur class SCP, so let's assume this is one of them, but it's locked up individually, and it escapes in the same containment breach as SCP-939. Well, as they're all ripping through each other, like human D-class personnel, eventually they cross paths. The Indoraptor would want it dead, would just kill. It's a kill on sight kind of predator, because this was just a prototype creature. It didn't have anything except the need to kill or eat or whatever. Its basis needs. That's all was there. So, and they see the Indoraptor there as well. But the Indoraptor, I'm assuming, still has the abilities of the Indominus Rex. Let me be sure about that real quick. Breed more streamlined weapon created, shown to attack command through visual audio frequency, drive it into a frenzy state. Similar to the Indominus Rex. Yep. So, yeah, it should be able to do the same thing where it lowers its body temperature. So it sees that and lowers its body temperature. So it'll immediately have an edge on SCP-939 because they have heat sensors. That's what they have. And, immediately Indoraptor stalks one of the members of the pack, we'll call it, and then takes it, immediately rips it apart. And, it wriggles and dies. All of a sudden, Indoraptor's body heats up, and they immediately are charging at it. They release their amnestics. The Indoraptor, cuts through a couple of them because it's far larger than any specimen of SCP-939. 2.2 meters is roughly in the 6-foot range, maybe even 7. The Indoraptor stands alone at 10 feet tall, but it's 24 feet long. So, I mean, if you could see me in the corner down here, let's assume this entire bar, this entire size right here of my screen is is the Indoraptor. That's where basically, at 6, so you're looking at a quarter of, a big specimen so far of SCP-939 is a quarter of the size of the Indoraptor, and not even a tenth of the weight. So, maybe. It's okay. I rephrase it. It's maybe not an eighth of the weight. No, a quarter definitely. It's not a quarter of the weight. It's probably not even a fifth of the weight. So even though the Indoraptor starts to maul through this, it is inhaling the amnestic. That, I think, is the key thing here we have to figure out is the amnestic is great on humans. Does it affect anything else? Like, could it affect other creatures? Apparently, humans seem to be the main source of prey for SCP-939. Let's see here. So the amnestic causes temporary anterograde or amnesia, inhibiting memory formation for the duration of exposure, plus average 30 minutes. It doesn't say if it's really designed to affect animals and people or just people. Seeing as humans seem to be its general prey, I will say it probably affects humans better than it affects other animals. Plus, this thing's kind of just blind rage. So, I don't know. So, it's basically a question of if it affects the Indoraptor, will it affect the Indoraptor quick enough so that the entire pack of SCP-939s isn't obliterated? I'd imagine the Indoraptor would probably cleave through about half that pack before it does start to succumb to the amnesia. It kind of but the problem here is it becomes apparent that they could try to give it a kill shot to the neck, but this thing can survive at least some mild gunshot. It's the whole skeletal structure. It's got to be thick enough to survive a standard bite to the neck, because that's their main kill shot, is a bite to the cranium and just crushing the skull or breaking the neck. That ain't going to work on the Indoraptor when you're that small. So, and their bite force is probably nothing compared to this thing. So the minute they bite the Indoraptor snaps out of it, realizes he's under attack, grabs the son of a bitch off him, and just bites its head off, and then just goes back on the attack. So while it might be suffering from like not even retrograde, anterograde amnesia, it doesn't really matter because you're attacking it while you're doing that, and you're snapping it out of it, realizing that while it might not remember what's going on, it can realize it's being attacked and just kind of push through that with blind instinct and rage. So ultimately, unfortunately, I don't think a pack of these guys would really fare well against the Indoraptor. They're not really, as far as we can tell, overly intelligent. They're not like Blue is. The reason the Velociraptor Blue really was able to beat the Indoraptor was it was pretty vicious in its own right, but it was also highly near human level intelligent. That's how smart Blue is. We have no level of measurement for these things' intelligence. They probably have a slightly above standard pack creature intelligence, but they're not genius level. They're not problem solving intelligence or anything like that. And when their main method of killing is the back of the neck, they could try to gouge it out or gouge the Indoraptor, but its hide is probably thick enough to avoid being gouged by their spines. They might be able to bite chunks out of it, but it would take they'd probably clamp on, but they'd have to really dig out the chunk of meat they want, which would just give the Indoraptor more and more time. Plus that tail's prehensile, by the way, I'm pretty certain. So yeah, I actually have to go with the Indoraptor here. I think the Indoraptor's sheer size, ferocity, intelligence, because it is intelligent, abilities that are more than likely inherited from the Indominus, and it's just sheer animalistic tendency would overwhelm a pack. And we're going with a pack of 9 because that's what they said they kind of had in closed in the facility. I think that would overwhelm the pack of SCP-939s. So ultimately, I'm going with the Indoraptor on this, but what do you think? Do you think the Indoraptor wins, or do you think it is a pack of SCP-939? I keep saying 399. 939s. Now, I'll also say this. If it's a one-on-one fight, yeah, the Indoraptor wins hands down. Because it's a David and Goliath fight where David doesn't have something to take down Goliath in time. Again, the amnestic might work, but it's a thing that even if the amnestic does work, they don't have an instant. They have nothing that's going to put an instant kill on the Indominus. I keep going back, the Indoraptor, because the Indoraptor is too large to do the bite to the head to kill it, and its skull is probably way too thick for that. So the minute they do that, they're going to snap the damn thing out of it, and then the thing's going to rip them apart. So my money's on the Indoraptor, but what do you think? Is the Indoraptor or SCP-939? Let me know in the comments below what you think. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Share, subscribe. As always, you want us to do something, put in the comments, review something. Put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I got nothing else planned for today. And then we go back into our usual week next week. Tomorrow, I just got a who would win. That's about it. And Atlantic Court videos. Yeah, it's just the usual this week. Till then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.